So, Read-Only Memories is a cyberpunk adventure game that features queer characters in meaningful roles. And so the whole point of us, why we created this game, and why, you know, my whole talk is about representation in games. And so, creating queer characters in games, for me, you know, I'm obviously a white guy, but I'm gay, and I've never really seen gay characters or queer characters done in games where they weren't jokes. And, you know, growing up, it was really tough to try to be like, oh, like, I'm normal, because I didn't really see any other queer games. There's no queer stuff on, like, Nintendo Power or whatever it was, you know, back then, EGM. And so, you know, I really wanted to see queer characters in games. And it's really important, you know, that you create whatever the representation you want to see in the games is. Because it's not just for the people here in this room or your friends or, you know, creating the world that you want to see. But young people, when they play your games and they see that they're being represented in their games, then all of a sudden, you know, whether that be, I actually just spoke at you know, at an elementary school in Oakland, and there's so many young girls that were like, I want to be game developers, but can I even do that? Because they don't see women being presented in you know, positive ways. They don't see themselves being represented, and they love games. These girls were like, I love, like, you know, whether it be Minecraft or this or that, like, they were just like totally in it. But they just assumed that it was a boys' world because that's the message that we're presenting them. In the same way, I mean, it's not as, you know, obvious, but there's really no representation about, you know, queer characters, people of color, disabled characters, and so these people, there's a reason why, you know, when you go to E3, it's all white dudes. It's all people like me, you know, at least in appearance, because that's the world that we've, you know, set out for them, and that's the world that we said, you know, this is what's acceptable. And so for our game, we wanted to create a game that is you know, a real game and has, you know, a real story, but has queer characters and queer themes in meaningful, you know, places. And so, you know, with our game, you know, we took a game that me and JJ loved growing up, Snatcher. We created kind of a spiritual successor to it that has, you know, queer characters in it. And a lot of the characters are characters that are just like, growing up I was just like, man, wouldn't this be really fucking awesome if we had, like, you know, we have, oh, hello. Like this guy, he's like a Persian bounty hunter, but he's also like a submissive bottom. And I thought it would be really cool to create some like badass who's like going around like having like, he's like a contract killer, but he's also like, you know, he likes cock, and that's fine. That's great. And I think that people need to be able to like have like positive role models like that, where like he's still a badass and he's not definitely like got negative qualities that like, you know, he's killing people, that's not good. But at the same time, like, you know, he's someone that hopefully people can relate to, whether it be because he's Persian or because he's gay or because he kills people, hopefully not. That's not and so yeah, you know, and so with our game, we have like, you know, like we're going to try to base it off people that we want to see more in games. And so, you know, we have like a lesbian cop and this hybrid girl, Jess, just all these really cool people that we really wanted to kind of just see in games. And so when you're making games and you want to see more characters that represent you, whether it be like, man, there's no bisexual characters in the game, what the fuck's up with that? Create some bisexual characters, because there's so many young kids who are going to see that and be like, I can make it in games too. And so when you make things, don't just think about creating something that you really want to enjoy, which you should, or even what your friends want to enjoy. Think about the young kids who are going to be playing that and be like, I'm represented in that. I can now be a part of that industry too, because in 10 years, you know, you're going to see all the fruits of your labor, all the seeds that you know, lay out. They're going to be the ones making the amazing games that you're going to, like, think of it from a self-centered view. Just be like, I want to play those games. If you make them, you represent it, those kids are going to come up and make the games that you want to play when you're older, and you'll be like, ah, this is great. So represent yourself in the games, or represent the things that you don't see in there, because it will pay off in spades, and that's why we're really excited about our game, Read-Only Memories, and I hope I see you at Game Rex. Yay, thank you.